Have you ever stepped out of the bathroom thinking everything was fine, only to later wonder why your skin feels irritated or why certain infections keep coming back? For many women over 60, the answer isn't always in our diet or the weather. Sometimes it's hidden in the quiet corners of our own bathroom routines. The habits we picked up over the years, the shortcuts we take without thinking, maybe quietly working against us. Doctors have started to point out a few of these overlooked mistakes. Some are so simple you'd never suspect them, yet they can affect everything from hygiene to comfort to how our bodies age. In this video, we're going to gently uncover 8 common bathroom habits that might need a second look. One of them, in particular, is something I never thought twice about until it began affecting my skin and overall well-being. So if you're ready for honest, caring advice and a few small changes that could make a big difference, you're in the right place. Stay with me. You might just discover something that brings more comfort and health to your daily routine. 1. Using harsh soaps in intimate areas. When I was younger, I believed that the stronger something smelled, the cleaner it must be. Like many women my age, I picked the prettiest bottle on the drugstore shelf, lathered generously, and assumed I was doing myself a favor. It wasn't until years later, after discomfort I couldn't explain, irritation that wouldn't go away, and 3 back-to-back urinary tract infections, that I realized something needed to change. It took a gentle but firm conversation with my doctor to open my eyes. She looked at me with compassion and said, "You've spent your life taking care of others. It's time to take care of you." And that starts with being kinder to the most delicate parts of your body. As we age, our skin, especially in intimate areas, becomes thinner, drier, and far more sensitive. What once seemed harmless now has the power to throw our entire system out of balance. Harsh soaps, heavily perfumed body washes, and especially anything labeled antibacterial may leave us feeling temporarily fresh, but at a high cost. They strip away the very natural moisture and beneficial bacteria that protect us from irritation and infection. And once that protective barrier is gone, it's a short path to burning, itching, and discomfort that can linger for days. You might be surprised to know that your body's already working to keep itself clean and balanced. It doesn't need help from strong scents or foam. All it truly needs is warm water and, if necessary, a fragrance-free, pH-balanced cleanser designed specifically for that area. When I made this change, I didn't just notice a difference. I felt renewed. No more irritation, no more discomfort, and perhaps most importantly, a deeper sense of respect for the body that's carried me through so much. So let this be a gentle reminder, not a warning. You deserve comfort. You deserve peace. And sometimes, that begins with something as simple as choosing what not to put on your skin. Your body is not a problem to be fixed. It is a story to be honored, a temple to be treated with tenderness. Clean doesn't need to sting or leave behind a floral trail. Sometimes, clean is quiet, gentle, healing, and that kind of clean, that's the one your body will thank you for, every single day. 2. Sitting too long on the toilet. It's a quiet habit that sneaks up on many of us, especially in this modern world where our phones are always within reach. For years, the bathroom became my little sanctuary, a private pause in the middle of a noisy day. I'd bring in a crossword puzzle, a magazine, or more recently, I'd scroll through photos of my grandkids or read the headlines while the minutes slipped by. I told myself it was harmless, maybe even relaxing. But then I had a conversation with my friend Lillian, and what she shared changed my thinking entirely. She had been dealing with discomfort for months, pressure, leakage, a sense that something just wasn't right. Eventually, her doctor told her she was facing pelvic organ prolapse. I'll admit, I didn't even know what that meant at first, but when she explained that it had to do with the weakening of the muscles that hold up your bladder, uterus, and bowel, it struck a chord. These are the very muscles that quietly support our core, our balance, and even our confidence. And as we age, they naturally become more fragile. What surprised me most was learning that one of the simplest habits can quietly make this worse. Sitting on the toilet for too long. When we linger, especially while leaning forward or hunched over our phones, It creates constant pressure on the pelvic region. That strain doesn't disappear the moment we stand up. It builds slowly, day after day, until one morning we wake up and realize something feels off. What once felt like a harmless bit of quiet time can begin to wear down the very support system that keeps us strong and steady. But the good news is this: we have the power to change that story. Starting now, the next time you go to the bathroom, make it intentional. Go in, do what you need to do, and then let yourself move forward with the rest of your day. If you crave a moment of peace, find it somewhere else. Sit by the window with a cup of tea, step outside and feel the sun on your face. Give your body a break from the strain and your spirit a place to breathe. Your pelvic floor may not ask for much, but when you care for it, it quietly gives you strength, stability, and freedom. A small shift in habit today can be the beginning of more ease and comfort for years to come. And that, I think, is a beautiful gift to give yourself. 3. Not drying properly after showers or bathroom trips. It might feel like a small thing, but the way we dry ourselves after bathing or using the toilet can quietly shape our comfort, our skin health, and even our confidence. For years, I never gave it much thought. A quick dab here, a swipe with a towel there, and I'd be dressed and on with my day. But a few years ago, something changed. I started noticing little irritations, a red patch beneath my breasts, a rash in the folds of my thighs, a strange itch between my toes. At first, I blamed my laundry detergent and then my soap, but after a gentle conversation with my doctor, I learned the truth. It was moisture, trapped in warm, quiet corners of my body where I wasn't taking enough time to dry properly. As we age, our skin becomes more delicate. The areas that once bounced back without a second thought now need a little extra attention. I remember my friend Denise saying the same thing. Her arthritis made her move slower, and reaching certain areas became harder. It's easy to overlook those tucked away places, especially when we're in a hurry or feeling stiff. But those folds and creases, like under the breasts, behind the knees, around the groin, and between the toes, are exactly where bacteria and fungi thrive when left damp. Since that moment of realization, I've made drying part of my self-care, not just a rushed afterthought. I use a soft towel reserved only for those sensitive spots. I pat gently, never rub, giving each area a few extra seconds of care. On colder days, I even use a hairdryer on the cool setting. It might sound odd, but it works wonders. What once felt like an indulgence now feels like a simple way to protect my skin and avoid unnecessary discomfort. This isn't about being fussy or doing anything fancy. It's about honoring your body, the same way you'd tend to a beloved garden. A few mindful moments after your bath can make the rest of your day more comfortable. And over time, you'll notice fewer irritations, less itchiness, and more ease in your own skin. So if you've been rushing through this part of your routine, take this as a loving nudge. Your skin has carried you through a lifetime. It deserves the kindness of a few extra gentle, deliberate moments each day. 4. Ignoring mold and mildew in the shower. For years, I brushed it off. A few dark specks in the tile grout, a bit of pink film on the shower curtain. I figured it was just leftover soap or shampoo residue. I'd spray a bit of cleaner, swipe it with a cloth, and get on with my day. It didn't seem urgent. But then I started getting recurring sinus infections. At first, I blamed the changing seasons or allergies. It wasn't until my doctor gently asked about the condition of my bathroom that I began to see things differently. What I learned shocked me. Those little spots weren't harmless buildup. They were mold and mildew, releasing spores into the air with every warm shower. And those spores weren't just making my bathroom look dingy. They were affecting my breathing, irritating my skin, and contributing to headaches I had chalked up to getting older. If you've got asthma or a weakened immune system, which many of us in our 60s and 70s do, mold can be especially harmful, and it doesn't just live in the corners of the shower. It can hide behind wallpaper, around windows, underneath floor mats, and even inside your favorite bath sponge. I'll never forget the day I gave mine a squeeze and saw little black flecks come out. That's when it hit me. I had been unknowingly rubbing mold into my own skin since then. I've made some changes that have truly lifted a weight I didn't know I was carrying. I switched to a washable fabric shower curtain, which I toss in the laundry regularly. I clean with white vinegar, especially in those hard-to-reach crevices, after every shower. I run the bathroom fan and leave the door cracked open to let the room breathe. That musty smell is gone now, and I've noticed I wake up with a clearer head and less congestion. Mold may seem like just another bit of housework to deal with, but it's so much more than that. The air we breathe in our own homes shapes how we feel each day. So if you see it, clean it. If you smell it, investigate. Don't wait. Your lungs, your skin, your peace of mind deserve a space that supports healing, not hidden harm. A little care today can make your bathroom a true place of refreshment again, and that small effort, it's one of the kindest gifts you can give yourself. 5. Reusing damp towels for days. Let's be real with each other. Most of us have done this at some point. After a shower, we hang the towel on the back of the door, thinking it's still clean enough. We tell ourselves we'll wash it later, but later turns into 3, 4, sometimes even 5 days. I used to think I was being smart, saving on laundry, keeping things simple, but then little things started happening that I couldn't quite explain. Tiny breakouts on my chest and neck, an itchy patch on my shoulder, my skin, which was already more delicate than it used to be, started feeling raw and irritated. I blamed my soap, then my lotion, until one day my granddaughter Emily said, "Grandma, how often do you wash your towels?" That question stuck with me, and after a bit of reading and a visit to my doctor, it all made sense. Towels don't just dry us, they collect the remnants of our day, dead skin cells, natural oils, moisture, and whatever our skin has carried from the world outside. And when a towel doesn't dry fully, especially in a warm, humid bathroom, it becomes the perfect home for bacteria and even mold every time we use it again, especially on our face or intimate areas. We're inviting all of that back onto freshly clean skin. Once I started switching to a fresh towel every couple of days and hanging it somewhere airy and well-ventilated instead of the back of the door, I noticed a clear difference. My skin calmed down. That strange smell I used to ignore was gone, and I just felt better, cleaner, more refreshed. Like I was treating my skin with the care it had long deserved. And it's not just bath towels, washcloths, loofahs, and body sponges need the same attention. If they stay damp and never quite dry out, they can do more harm than good. It's such a simple shift, but it holds the power to protect one of our most precious assets, our skin. At this stage in life, every act of care counts, and wrapping yourself in a clean, dry towel is a quiet kind of love you can offer yourself each day. 6. Forgetting to clean bathroom tools like razors and brushes. This is one of those habits that quietly slips past us. We take care of our skin, wash our hair, try to do everything right. Yet we often forget about the very tools we use every single day. Razors, hairbrushes, tweezers, nail clippers, even makeup brushes. They become so familiar, so routine, that we barely notice how long it's been since we actually cleaned them. I didn't think much of it either until something unexpected happened. One morning, I noticed a red, itchy patch on the back of my calf. I assumed it was a bug bite, but it got worse, and my doctor later told me it was a mild skin infection. The culprit? A razor I had left sitting in the shower for weeks, damp, rust-speckled, and quietly collecting bacteria. That moment was a wake-up call. I realized how many of my other tools were just as neglected. My hairbrush had a collection of old product, oil, and skin flakes clinging to the bristles. I had pulled the hair out now and then, but I never actually washed it. And don't even get me started on my makeup brushes. I was using them almost daily without once thinking about what might be living inside those soft little bristles. Now, I've made a few simple changes, and they've made all the difference. I soak my razor in rubbing alcohol once a week and replace the blade regularly. I wash my hairbrush in warm, soapy water once a month and let it dry completely before using it again. And those makeup brushes, They get a gentle cleanse with baby shampoo or brush cleaner every couple of weeks. It takes just a few minutes, but it brings peace of mind and keeps my skin clearer and healthier. Think of it this way. We would never eat with a dirty fork, yet we press these tools against our skin, our scalp, our face. Giving them the care they deserve is another way we care for ourselves. Small routines, done with intention, can quietly protect our health and bring a new sense of pride to the way we treat our body each day. 7. Using air fresheners instead of cleaning. I'll admit it, there was a time when I swore by lavender sprays. After every bathroom visit, I'd give the room a generous spritz and feel proud of the lovely scent that lingered. I truly believed it meant my bathroom was clean. It wasn't until much later that I realized all I was doing was covering up a problem, not solving it. The mildew hiding in the shower tiles, the bacteria building up around the toilet base, even the damp smell from under the sink. None of that was going away just because I sprayed something floral in the air. It hit me one afternoon when I kept coughing every time I used the bathroom. At first, I thought it was a seasonal allergy or dust, but then I noticed the pattern. It was after the spray. That sweet-smelling mist was quietly irritating my lungs. And as we age, our respiratory systems become more delicate. What once seemed harmless can suddenly become a trigger for discomfort. So I paused. I took a good look around and realized it wasn't the smell I needed to fight. It was the source. These days, I focus on genuine freshness. I wipe down the counters and faucet handles every few days. I give the toilet bowl and base a proper scrub using natural cleaners like white vinegar and baking soda. I open a window or run the fan after a hot shower to let the air breathe. And you know what? The space feels better, not just because it smells cleaner, but because I know it truly is, now and then. I'll still light a candle, not to hide anything, just for the calm glow it gives at night. But I no longer rely on perfumes in a can to create the illusion of hygiene. Real cleanliness doesn't need to be masked. It speaks for itself. It welcomes you in, without needing to distract you with overpowering scents. When your space is fresh because it's cared for, not just sprayed down, you feel it in your body and your breath. That's the kind of environment I want to grow older in. One that nurtures peace, not just perfumes it. 8. Not replacing the toilet brush or bathroom sponge regularly. There's a quiet little corner of bathroom care that many of us forget about entirely. I know I did for years. We focus on scrubbing the tub, wiping the mirror, maybe even organizing the cabinets. But the tools we use to clean? They often stay hidden in the same spot, quietly gathering the very bacteria we think we're getting rid of. When was the last time you replaced your toilet brush or tossed out that sponge near the sink? If you're not sure, you're not alone. I used to think, well, it's just for cleaning. Why would I need to clean the cleaner? But the truth is, these humble tools can become some of the dirtiest items in the house. Toilet brushes, in particular, are exposed to every kind of germ imaginable. And when they're left wet in a dark container, they don't dry out, they fester each time you reach for them. You may be spreading more bacteria around than you're actually removing. And let's talk about those little kitchen-style sponges we keep in the bathroom. If yours is starting to look tired, if it smells even a little sour, or if the edges are fraying, it's time to say goodbye. I'll never forget the time I wiped down the sink with a sponge I'd had for who knows how long. Later that evening, I noticed a rash on my wrist that took days to settle. That small reaction was my wake-up call. Since then, I've made it a habit to replace my toilet brush every few months. I don't just toss it aside and grab a new one. I also make sure the container gets cleaned and dried. With sponges, I'm even more careful. I keep a backup supply in the cabinet and jot down a reminder on the calendar to change them out. That little note has saved me from a lot of guesswork. Cleanliness isn't just about what meets the eye. It's about the tools behind the scenes. A spotless bathroom means very little if your brush and sponge are doing more harm than good. These simple switches, done with care and consistency, are acts of quiet protection. So take a moment, peek into that corner next to the toilet or behind the faucet, and if it's time, give yourself permission to let those old tools go. Your skin, your health, and your peace of mind will be better for it. And that brings us to the end. These 8 bathroom habits might seem small, but over time, they can quietly shape our comfort, health, and confidence. The beautiful part is that with just a few mindful changes, we can feel cleaner, fresher, and more in control of our daily routine. If today's video gave you a new perspective, I invite you to subscribe so we can keep growing and learning together each week. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Comment below with the words, "I'll fix this," if at least one of these habits made you think twice. Your voice might just encourage another woman watching today. Until next time, be gentle with yourself and trust that even the smallest act of care can lead to something better. I'll see you in the next video.